Hi, and welcome to another Writer's Chat. Tonight's topic has to do with an essay by the iconic feminist thinker and leader Gloria Steinem. Now, I came across this essay, the title of this essay is called "The Problem with Rich Women." And this is something that Gloria Steinem published in Ms. Magazine in 1986. I have to get that right. And so the reason why I was able to read this is because I was just searching for Kindle Unlimited books and then came across the Kindle Shorts. And there are a number of ones that I could read for free through the Kindle Unlimited program. So I decided to download this out of curiosity. And so this is really the first time I'd ever read anything by Gloria Steinem. And it was really interesting. And she begins the essay. Well, first of all, what I should tell you is that the essay has to do with the position of rich women in society, not mostly in the pre-feminist era, and then continuing along into the feminist revolution and the greater activism in the 70s. So it's something that was very interesting to read, and it begins like a short story, and I'll tell you why. The beginning of the story, she establishes her storytelling, her narrative voice, and she begins with thinking about how when she was a child and when we were children, we would imagine the lives of rich people, and this is how she begins her story. When I was growing up, the world was divided into rich people and the rest of us. Well, right away, this reminded me of the way F. Scott Fitzgerald began one of his famous short stories called The Rich Boy. And the beginning of that story was, "Let me tell you about the very rich. They are different from you and me." So very, very similar opening. But the intentions are they diverge, because Steinem is very interested in exposing the stories of rich women, their place in society, and also show that they have benefited from the feminist revolution. She again explores the wishful thinking that she had when she was young, that the wealthy women they had it made. They had easy lives. They had money. They had material wealth. But she goes on to ask something very significant. Could it be that rich women themselves were an ultimate possession? And for her, the answer is yes, and she goes on to explain why. So in the story, in the essay, she talks about how these women were powerless to live their lives on their own terms. They had to live their lives through their husbands, their fathers, and their brothers. They could not manage their own money, their own considerable wealth. They often had to marry someone who would then control the money for them or work in the family company. They also had brothers who would take over managing the family money, but they themselves were not able to do it. And it's very interesting reading. It shows that that you need to pay attention to stories of women from all walks of life, and there isn't, regardless of the class divide at the time. And she makes these broad societal implications because she was able to talk to women and listen to their individual stories of powerlessness and draw larger inferences from them. And she also draws upon the history of the feminist movement, including Susan B. Anthony and other suffragettes. So over the space of the essay, she does uncover the unbalanced power structure between women and men. Let's see. And so she actually makes that jump from the individual stories to the bigger picture. And we actually gain a sympathy for these rich women. They're not to be envied. They were to be supported and listened to, because they were also part of this larger struggle for equality. And it's important for women to turn to each other and listen to each other's stories, and to share and to help each other out. And that's something that I definitely took from the essay. By the end of the essay, which was published in 1986, Steinem does mention that she doesn't think that there was so much of that divide anymore. That there wasn't the divide between the rich women and the rest of us. That there's just women, and we are all in it together. So, have you read this essay? Have you read anything by Gloria Steinem? Is there anything else by her that you would recommend? Leave a comment and let me know. Thank you, and good night.